Good evening, everybody. I'm Grim Reaper, and with me, as always, is
Cynical Squid.
and also,
And Perry the Pig.
and this is last week at Epoch. And if you look down on the screen here, you'll see we've got with us Mr. Jacobus. How are you doing, Mr. Jacobus?
I'm good, guys. How's everybody doing?
Doing well, man.
Fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you end up getting into last Epoch? Because you're a very new streamer and you're new to the game.
Actually, I bought the game a long time ago. I remember I watched It's Yoji's video on the crafting in Path of Exile, and why people were like super upset that they were removing the deterministic crafting system, and he was making a video basically just poking fun at like, well, only if there was a game that had a deterministic crafting system. And it was all about Last Epoch. I bought the game then, got caught up with some other stuff, and recently I kind of just got bored with what I was playing. So all right, I'm gonna play it. We're gonna see what happens, and then I ended up, pretty much falling in love with it. So
Awesome. And you also participated in the tournament this past weekend too, right? First one.
yeah, first one for me.
How was that experience for you?
It was a lot of fun. I ended up towards the end kind of wishing I had played another build. And I was in Perry's chat a lot talking to him. We had kind of started off with similar prospects and went our own ways. And neither one of us, I think, felt like we enjoyed the skill we played very much. But
I remember because I was in your stream the day before the race this weekend started, and you were trying like some kind of like multi-strike forward strike thing.
Yeah.
So multi-strike is like one of the brand new skills, and it doesn't have a bad skill tree in my opinion, but like it misses a little something for single target. It's visually kind of boring. Like I wish it had something else. So for me, I did multi-strike void. So I started out void cleave, and then I did multi-strike void cleave, and then multi-strike forward strike, and then multi-strike crit by itself. And then for me, I ultimately ended on multi-strike bleed, which is not like bad. I would call it a functional build, but I really wouldn't call it like a good build. So like how did your build go this weekend? Like did you pivot at all, or did you just stick with your initial vision?
I made my final push. I swapped to one hand. I took the attack speed, the two-handed attack speed nodes out, and I put them on the block and block effectiveness. And I made the push. I was like, I'm just going to do it. Wherever we end, we end. It was a learning experience. I had fun. And I ended up around like 152, 151. I can't remember exactly. I feel like the build with the multi-strike, forward strike, and like it working together, I don't know, the less attack speed in the tree kind of hurts. It doesn't seem to make much sense to me. Also, it doesn't have a lot in the way of like attack speed nodes. It's got a bunch of more multipliers, which would make you think like it seems like it should be good. But if you want to take them all to feel like you have enough single target damage, you can't really get the stuff like the defensive tools you get from it. I don't know. It just, like I said, it just didn't seem like it worked. I feel like it's a type of build where it's like if I had like infinite time, if I wasn't playing on like a 4-day stretch, and I had infinite time where I could pour, like love into the build and really play it and see what I could do with it, I could make it work and make it doable, maybe make it push a little bit, but probably wasn't my best decision as far as like a tourney.
Nice.
So all you need is infinite time. Sure.
Basically, yeah, exactly.
I was saying that so this weekend was kind of the debut, more or less, of one of the most busted builds we've seen in a bit, which is the healing effectiveness stuff. So there were like 2 or 3 YouTube videos that went up ahead of time from various people, but this healing effect javelin thing is like, it's so much damage. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be nerfed, but because it was a known quantity going into the weekend, it's like, well, if you're realistically trying to get, top 5, and you really want those MTX points from EHG, you're probably playing that build because it's very, very good.
I played a similar version to it, but not quite that one. I did the javelin throw with mine, to where whenever you throw it, it puts down the banner, and then it smites whatever's inside there. And about halfway through the tournament, I ended up changing it up. I started off as fire, which was really good single target damage. But the problem of it is I would get overran by mobs, and I didn't get a bastion the whole entire time. I was looking for a bastion of honor the whole entire tournament. So I didn't have the defensive modifiers that I wanted. I killed, Argentus like 8 or 9 times. No wings of Argentus. I got like everything else from Argentus. And the build overall, like the damage was just not there whenever it was fire. So I switched to the lightning about halfway through the tournament, and didn't find any of the lightning gear that I needed to be able to up the damage a little bit more. But the damage was pretty good for like clearing packs. But once I got into the arenas and realized that without the other defensive gears that I needed, I was taking way too much damage with mobs grouped up, even while standing inside of the javelin and having healing effectiveness and everything. Because my javelin was still healing me too, from it being on the banner, and it was dropping lightning bolts, and the lightning bolts were chaining. And kind of similar situation with you. If I would have had a little bit more time, like maybe another day or two, I think I could have probably got the build up to where I could have probably pushed about wave 215, maybe 220 with it, without having the defensive gear. And with the defense gear, I think that build could easily push 300 waves. I think it's just a matter of getting the right balance between defense and the lightning offense on it. And I think that build would have been good. Everybody else was playing that trail spear, though, where they were leaving the trail and it was igniting everything or burning everything up or whatever it was doing. I didn't play that one. So
Yeah, the Holy Trail javelin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've heard a bunch of different perspectives. I have a lot of time to watch streams because I don't really start my stream until late at night. So I get a big chunk of parries in the morning. I'll get like Lizard, stop in with Grim and stuff like that. I catch Vision like at the end of my stream or Quiet and stuff. There's a bunch of people. Pretty much everybody agrees that, from what I can see, that it's busted. It seems like everybody has a little bit of a different idea why it's busted. Some people say the damage is just too much. Lizard was talking on his stream and he seemed to believe that it's like the damage is good, but you can do this with other builds. They just need to make this build require more gear, which seems like it's not illogical. I don't really know. Obviously, Lizard knows way more about the game than I do. But when I look at something and the functionality is basically throw a spear, you get a big line you can stand behind, and everything that walks near it dies until wave 400.
But the line is this big. It's
Yeah.
It's a
That's it. It's a playability thing, right? It's like it is kind of hard to make it work unless you And in some arenas, it's way more deadly because the way the mobs approach you from can get kind of scary. They can really like encircle you. So I don't know. I still think it's too strong.
Well, as long as we're talking about the stuff from this weekend, the Vision race, Squid, how'd you do?
I did not play in the Vision race. I ended up
Just
working.
kidding.
I ended up working all weekend. It sucked. I would rather have been playing Last Epoch. Though to be fair, I would not have played Javelin. I would have played the build I've been playing on my stream that I've really enjoyed. I would have played Void Cleaver Racing Strike because I like erasing striking things for like 30k. It's a lot of fun.
It's a satisfying bonky place.
Yeah.
It's extremely
big
bonky and
hits.
very satisfying. Of course, the problem is that, like, if it doesn't kill whatever you hit, there's not a lot of defensive stuff in the tree because you're a Void Knight. So, yeah.
They're more health.
more health, more health modifiers.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's pretty much, like, my softcore build that is, like, pushed up and, like, has a bunch of good gear and stuff. Like, pretty much all of my idols are, like, vitality and health idols, basically. So, that's pretty much my survivability is just have a crap ton of health.
You could do vitality and armor idols.
True.
Oh. That's what all my idols are right now. I'm trying to play a tanky Void Knight in hardcore.
Yeah.
Like we just hit like level 100 on it, and like it's sufficiently tanky.
Oh yeah.
But that's also because I have Ravenous Void. It's like it's like
3,800 HP.
3,800 HP. It's not bad at all. But hey, listen, before we get too far away from this, I want to bring it back to Jacobus here. And Jacobus, listen, I've been calling you Jacob for a while. Is that okay as a nickname?
You could call me Jacob. I put in my stream thing that I am Jacob. Jacobus is kind of like I came up with it a while ago. It is. I was talking to my friends, and it is kind of derivative of Jacob. Like if I don't know. I always put my character on Discord as like a gladiator. He's wearing like a helmet and stuff. And so it sounds sort of like Roman, but it is derivative of Jacob, just intentionally.
Okay, gotcha. In any case, you, as far as I know, are a relatively new streamer as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
How did you get into it? Tell me the story.
To be honest with you, I was like, I'm sitting there like I really like this game, and I'm sitting here playing it by myself, and I could sit here and I could play the stream on my other monitor, like I did with PoE for 10 years. Just watching another stream on the side, or I could just turn mine on and see if I get anybody to talk to. And so I went with option 2, and that first night, nobody really showed up. That second night, I asked my friend to come hang out with me, and we were chilling in there, and you actually hosted me that second night.
That was your second night of streaming, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so actually off of that, I ended up with my first consistent, like, returning viewer who's in my stream every night to give me somebody to talk to. So I know it's been pretty easy since then, to be honest with you. Like, I just keep doing it. The people that I enjoy talking to keep coming back, and it's fun every time. So
That's awesome. Nice. All right. So let's give you like a platform or like an opportunity to pitch yourself. Like if someone tunes into your stream, what are they expecting? Like what kind of conversation, what kind of builds, what kind of stuff are you doing?
Uh, that's a big question. I don't know. I play
It
any
is a
kind of
big
build.
question. I'm putting you on the spot.
It's a big question. I play any kind of build. I love Theorycraft. Every game I play, I've been into Theorycraft. I try to, whenever I can, see if I can't break the mold on something, find something out new. Here recently, I also like really fast stuff. Like I said, I played PoE for a long time, and I wasn't like a boss killer or anything like that. I was like a power farmer. Give me cast on crit, cyclone, and I'll run through a map as fast as I can. So that's kind of me. I just kind of vibe, play a little bit of music, and just farm it up. But I'll talk about anything. I don't mind having discussion. I'll talk about your build. You want to have a discussion about probably not politics. We'll keep that out of there as much as I possibly can. But
It's probably a good
but
call.
yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I really have an identity as a streamer yet. Like it's only been, I think last night was like my 7th night streaming consistently, and so we'll see where it goes. The people who come in, I just talk to them about anything. Mainly builds and stuff, because that's like I said, with Last Epoch and me being new, I'm trying to get information. Like, there's a huge community of people who played the game way longer than me. I want to know stuff. I want to know as much as I can how the mechanics work and stuff. But
I don't think anybody knows how the mechanics work in this game yet.
I was in Perry stream and I was like, does this node work? Like, I click this node and the tooltip doesn't change. Like, is this bugged? He's like, I wouldn't trust it.
We've been having a hot conversation on my stream recently about Devouring Orb. Let me pitch this to you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So Devouring Orb is like my new favorite skill, right? It's just like
Yeah,
it's
it looks
so
like a lot of fun.
purple, It's so much fun. It's like
It is.
automatic.
It's a ton of
Everything is
fun.
auto target. Oh, it's so good. So here's speaking of tooltips being bugged all the time. Like, listen, Last Epoch's in early access. Stuff is bugged. Sometimes the devs know how things work, and sometimes the devs only think they know how things work, right? So how Devouring Orb works? There's 2 more damage multipliers on the Devouring Orb tree. One of them says like Devouring Orb hits, and the other one says like Void Rift hits. And neither of those, according to Mike, according to one of the Last Epoch devs, neither of those affects Abyssal Orb. And Abyssal Orb is like the small homing ball that shoots off, kind of reminds you of Volatile Dead from PoE.
Mm-hmm.
So neither of those is supposed to work, but both of those do work for scaling your damage. So that's the first thing. And what we just found out tonight is the meme build that we've been planning, kind of as a joke. I think it works. According
I
to
know
our
what it is
testing.
too.
It's Bleed Devouring Orb.
Yeah,
Because
bro.
both of those
No.
nodes say hits. And normally when something says hits, it doesn't apply to ailment damage, right? But if a skill says like, this skill deals more damage, generic more damage multipliers are inherited by ailments. But like this one, it says hit, but it works with ailments. So it's a bug, but I really want to play it. I want to play some Bleed Devouring Orb. I
Yeah.
think it's a thing. I think it works.
Yeah.
Wait a
you might
minute.
as well, right?
Yeah.
Might
What
be your
about
only
that?
chance.
What about Doom Devouring Orb?
I
mean,
Doom
you can
damage.
do that. The only issue with that is Doom has a maximum cap of 4 stacks. So like most other ailments in the game have like an infinite stack, or Time Rot has 12 stacks, but like Doom has 4 stacks, and Devouring Orb hits way too often for that. And like, yeah, I mean you can probably do it, but it's not like
Yeah.
ideal.
How often do you think you're going to be able to get that build to hit, though, Perry, for the bleed?
Oh, 5 times a second or so at least.
yeah, what I'll say is this is Devouring Orb we're talking about.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, tons.
This is making me want to try Devouring Orb, but with poison, because I like playing a lot of poison stacking builds. And if that works, I got Salt the Wound already, so I could do a poison stacking Devouring Orb build with it.
I just don't know where you get the poison chance from. There's so much bleed chance in the Sentinel, like bleed while holding an axe. Axe has bleed on it, stuff like that. But where do you get the poison from?
Probably had to get it off gear.
Plague
I'd have, to
berry
look at
stuff.
I'd have to look at the skill tree, but I think most of it would end up coming from weapon, and amulet. Would be where you get
It's
most of
funny
your
that you
poison
mention. It's funny that you mention Plague Bearer staff, Perry, because one of the first builds that I played when I got into Last Epoch was a Void Knight Devouring Orb build that used Plague Bearer's Staff. And
That sounds very interesting.
No. It hit hard. Like I'm talking like I went from like struggling to clear trash with like the crappy build I was playing to like laughing at the face of everything that wasn't shade basically during monos with the build, and I was like, wait a minute, why does this work? Because like I remember I saw the build. It was like some random build guide a guy had put on YouTube, and I was looking at it and I'm like, there's no way this works, but like I have to test this basically because this is like too memey not to test it basically. And then I played it and was like, wait, no, this shouldn't work. Why are all the big numbers on my screen? Wait. So yeah, Plague Bearer's Staff.
More ailments
Yeah.
in this game.
Yeah, I find the elements interesting in this game. You're coming from a PoE where everything kind of scales with your hit. That they all have like a base value, and really when it comes to scaling them, you just got to scale the damage type and like how many you can apply per second. But there's way more ways to apply more than one on a hit in this game than there's a PoE. So it's different. I have to get used to it.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different.
Oh yeah.
The biggest element build that I've seen so far, which I think is nerfed now, was Lone Star McFluffin was playing a Poison Flurry Rogue build. And I was literally watching him stack the poisons up so high on a target dummy that it was like taking for 2 million damage a tick with poison. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, he would throw down Acid Flask and blah, 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 and the next thing you know, you just see this 2 million number go across your screen. And it's like, holy crap, that build looks awesome. And then I think at the beginning of this, or not this patch, patch before, I think they killed the build. So I don't think you can get it that high anymore. But it was pretty busted a couple patches ago. I don't know what build is really good with rogues. I've been out of touch with rogues now for a patch and a half because I've been playing the hell out of Alkalite. That's what I've been playing today, and Hardcore Solo Self-Found is a Lich build that I'm working on. I'm looking for I think it's called Soulfire for the Relic, the one that changes your Hungering Souls to all fire damage.
Oh,
So
that
I'm gonna
makes it
try to
ignite too, right?
Yeah, it gives it Ignite too. So I'm doing an Ignite build with that and Reaper Form. I'm going to summon 3 mages, have 3 mages exactly, take the 150% more multiplier for having just 3 minions, and see if I can get that build up and going with Death Seal, Reaper Form. And I'm not sure what else to take, because I'm going to take the mages, but I'm not sure other than Transplant, because I'm already taking the node that separates the cooldown between Transplant and Reaper. But I don't know what the 5th skill is that I want to take with it. I can't figure out what 5th skill would be good with fire for it.
I don't know.
I'm about to say, you're asking the wrong
Wish I
dude.
knew
I don't
more.
play Acolyte.
I'm sitting here thinking like, I don't know. Like you said Transplant already, but it's funny you mentioned the rogue poison stuff, and like, you know what? I need a better like vocabulary of like gateway builds. Just builds that make new players just like drop their jaws. You know what I mean? Like they look at this and like, yup, I want to play Last Epoch. I'm gonna play this build, and if I fall in love with Last Epoch, I'll do something else afterward. But like first things first. And I feel like Bow Mage is a great example of that because it's just like it's so cool. It kind of reminds you of Cast on Crit, and like Jacob, you just mentioned that a second ago. Like you said you like Cast on Crit. Like
Yeah, I
you
can tell
wanna
you
go
exactly
nice
what
and
build
easy.
appealed to me as a new player when I saw it.
For sure.
Yeah, it was Smite Hammerden. I was like, holy shit, look at this. This looks cool as hell. And so as somebody who didn't get the chance to play D2, but knew that there was a lot of nostalgia for the game. I guess I had the chance technically. I could go back and do it now, but I knew there was a lot of people who had nostalgia for it. And I was like, actually, that looks cool, and I know this is something that it looks inspired by how Hammerden looked back in the day. And I was like, that looks really cool. And then like, guess this patch. I don't actually know. I didn't play it until this patch came out. The lightning stuff is new, where the lightning chains from one target to the other with all the electrify stuff, and so that's actually what I've been playing. It's Devotion, and then Lightning Smite Hammerden, and it's not great on FPS. I know Grim was in there last night, and I dash into a pack, and my game would literally it was like old school PoE. It would just stop, and then everything would die, and all my FPS would come back.
But that's the good part, right?
Yeah, I have it in the description of my stream. I'm like, listen, my name's Jacob. I'm playing an ARPG, and my build probably tanks my FPS. Like that's what I do. You know, if I could do that on every build, I would. But,
As someone who played a ton of Stormblast Mine in PoE, yeah, I identify with that. I'm going to detonate all the mines, and either everything on the screen is dead or I am dead, but we'll find out in about 10 seconds.
This
Yeah,
is a feature. This is not a bug. I like just the tiny bit of lag right there when all the
Yeah.
particles next to stream.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know that I'm hitting hundreds of times in a second.
Exactly.
I want to know the game is doing the calculations. I want to watch it think.
You definitely had some frames drop whenever the game last night. Whenever I was watching you stream, frames were definitely dropping whenever you were doing that one arena because you dashed
Yeah.
to one side. All of a sudden, the screen stopped. Everything locked up. I could still hear you talking, but then all of a sudden, everything would just pop on the screen. You would see an instant pop, and then everything would come back to normal. And then the next pop or next wave would come out, and then you would dash into them, and then all of a sudden it lock up again, and then pop. The whole screen would explode
It's
again.
perfect.
So,
It's ideal, man.
yeah.
I get to complain about it because it shouldn't. I get to complain about it because it shouldn't happen. But I'm not gonna pretend that I don't enjoy it. Just a little bit, you know. But yeah, that was like I got up to wave 200, and the mob started getting a little tanky, and it was actually I have a clip I haven't published yet. It was like, what does it matter? I'm probably gonna die in a second anyway. And literally like that wave came out, and I got shot by like 4 archers and didn't block any of them, and I died instantly. It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
I feel like 200 is like congratulations, your build's not garbage. Like 200s are like a
Yeah.
Like if any build gets to wave 200 in the arena, it's like, you know what, maybe
You did it.
your build's not perfect, but like it's pretty good. Like good flipping job.
Damn, that makes me feel bad now, Perry. I only hit 143 on the tournament.
Yeah, so far you only hit 143
So far, yeah. But I'm not revisiting the build. Like I said, I've switched over to hardcore solo self-found now. That's all I'm going to play from now on is hardcore SSF. So I'm not going to do anything else from now on. I feel like I've spent enough time in the softcore to kind of understand my grasp of the game and how to build defenses. So now from here on out, it's hard mode, man. Time to go back to hardcore. So
Hardcore
And-
SSF is content league too. It's like you don't get rip clips when you play softcore.
It's true.
True.
Well, you do. They're just really funny rip clips, like on my stream, where I was like, "Man, I wonder if the Shade's gonna one shot me," and then the Shade one shot me, and I was like, "Oh, it does. Got it. Understood."
well, I can honestly say I am already better than Perry. I made it through the start zone without dying while having my
Get out of here.
Yo, that's messed up. I didn't even bring it up this week.
I die one time at level 3,
It was
and I
twice.
just get harassed.
It was twice.
That's unlucky.
I said to everybody in my stream, if I could just make it to the start zone without dying, I'm better than Perry.
Oh my
My
god.
favorite part of leveling through Last Epoch has been patched. I don't know if you saw this. The first boss in Last Epoch, right before you talk to the girl, and she's like, "Click on the epoch to do time traveling." That first like bird boss right there, you used to be able to walk past it, and
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
I got to do it exactly once before they patched it. I learned about it, did it one time, and now I can't do it.
Stupid bird. Man.
No
Oh
fun.
well.
I didn't know you could skip the first boss. That's new to me.
Not
I
anymore.
never
You
skipped it.
Well, not anymore. They fixed it, but I did it by accident one time. I was like, "Oh, cool! I didn't know I could do that."
It's like peace is always an option. Well,
It makes sense.
was.
You just dip out, right? It's just like I'm just gonna take this portal. If he follows me, he follows me.
Just live the non-violent life.
There you go. Pacifist, right?
So Jacob,
Kind of
this
like
has,
my
been,
multi-strike build.
this has been your first week of streaming, your first week of playing Last Epoch 2 as well.
Yep.
How
Oh
is-
no, that's not true. Okay, so I actually checked this the other day because I wondered how new I actually was, and I launched at Last Epoch the first time, the 26th of last month for the first time. So
Okay.
I have that confirmed.
Well, your first week of streaming anyways. So
Yeah.
how's your reception with the community been, and how have you enjoyed your time in the community so far?
I mean, the community's just been phenomenal. I don't think that a night's gone by where I haven't had somebody to talk to. I don't think I've had a night except for the first night where I didn't get hosted by somebody playing the game. So I stream it kind of like I know I refer to them as DGen hours, but I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I've been streaming like all through the night. So maybe that's helping a little bit, but
I
yeah,
think there's
I'm
plenty of people out there who are like EU hours or like Britain hours, whatever.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're in North America,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I was.
You might
As,
find like an EU audience at some point. I wonder.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like that's what it is. Like I was mentioning, the consistent guy that I have in there, I know for a fact. I don't know if he's visited the stream. He's probably asleep.
Dr. Tools.
Yeah, Dr. Tools. I know he's Dutch, and because we've been talking a lot. So.
As
You said Dutch, and I started thinking of Gold Member from Austin
God.
Powers.
Oh, good Lord. As someone who also used to stream quote unquote DGen hours for a while, I feel you on that, where it's like the person you're talking to, English probably isn't their primary language because it's 5 a.m. for me on the East Coast, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way that this person is.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in Central. I know I talked about this before the thing started. I'm actually from Missouri, which I don't know. I guess maybe Quiet is also close to me. We were mentioning.
I think Wyatt's in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's not too far. But yeah, I'm on Central. So yeah, pretty much when I start my stream, normally about 10:30 my time. I don't see Dr. Tools till like about an hour later normally. He said that's about 7 a.m. for him. So yeah, but I mean, luckily I got lucky. He is EU, but he types and understands English very well. He said he works in film, so most of the stuff is done in English anyway. So I got lucky there, I guess.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
It's awesome.
I was just before this stream, I was streaming as well, and I was looking for somebody to host, and there are a lot of like non-English streams out there, like kind of more than I would expect. There's like maybe 2 or 3 Russian folks out there. There's like I think 2 Portuguese I saw, a Swedish, a German, like it's all over the place.
Yeah.
And, like I know the purpose of like this podcast here is to highlight different members of the community. I wonder how good their English is. Like, could we have like a Portuguese person on here? We should.
I can
reach
check
out to
around and
them.
find out.
We
I can check
we
out.
can-
Why not? Right?
We can totally
Yeah.
ask them.
English is pretty common. You find a lot of people that speak it at least decently. I know a lot of the Russian streamers. The one of them I've been in his chat and he responds to questions in English a lot. So, yeah, you might be able to find a few people that'd be good to be on here.
Oh, I'm definitely trying to get Rick on here. We're trying to shoot for next weekend. I'll spill the beans now on this podcast. I don't know if you guys all know who Rick is, but Rick does the rip clips for everybody in the last Epoch community.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get him to come on here on the podcast. Hopefully, I'm still in contact with him. We're trying to work out scheduling right now because he's been super, super busy. But I would like to get Rick on here and let everybody meet him face to face and get to see who the guy is, the gentleman that creates the rip clips. Now, how does that work, Perry? Do you send your rip clip to him, or does somebody else send your rip clip to him, or does he clip it himself? I don't know how he does.
I imagine what he probably does. I mean, we can ask him, but what he probably does is just like looks at the most viewed clips in Last Epoch for like the past week or 2 weeks, and just like finds which one has a title or which one has a bunch of views or which one is a rip. That's probably what he does, but I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know either.
He approached me directly and asked if he could use my clips, and of course I said that's cool. It was just been a few days ago, and I only had one clip on my stream actually, but it was unfortunately me cleansing an item that I didn't mean to cleanse. I put the wrong rune on, so it's pretty funny.
Cool.
That is what it is.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Well, at least you
I
didn't
would-
die with your screen open.
Yeah, true.
I would like to announce a community bounty. I don't know what I can give you for this, but I would love to see some sort of like GIF or something of somebody failing a 99% craft. Like the 1% chance to fracture. I want to see it.
Best I can give you is 98.
I've
already
seen
saw it.
98. I've done 98. I want the 99. I want the holy grail.
I
Honestly,
feel like I
I've-
need to go back and look at some of my gear that I crafted over the tournament and check, because I'm
Honestly,
pretty sure there's something in there.
I've had a fail at 96. I haven't had a 99 yet.
I can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be good. Did I send you
failed so many things.
I sent you my screenshot from my Raya farming. It has I won't send it in here just to give you the context on it. I killed Raya more than 15 times last night, and I didn't get my blessing. And I looked at like my blessing screen to see if I had any undiscovered, and I've discovered every empowered blessing except for the one that I need, every single one. So hoping I have better luck
Yeah.
tonight. We'll see what happens.
Which blessing is that again?
Spell Leech. I've been farming the Black Sun for so long. I could have probably pushed it to 250 corruption by now. I'm well past having pushed it to 200, and I've been all throughout the web on that one. I went back, hit the memory node, reset it. I've gone through it again, and still have not gotten my blessing. We'll see what happens. RNG is RNG.
Feels bad, man. So what build is it that you're working on for that, anyways?
I'm doing Devotion. Sorry, I almost said Cast on Crit. Devotion, Smite, Hammerden. So basically, the goal is most stuff at 200 corruption. I found I can clear without thinking too hard about my mana levels. But you gain basically with Devotion. If you read the amulet, you gain 1 flat adaptive spell damage per 5 missing mana. So I have 417 mana or something. So if I zero my mana out while I'm casting hammers and I out regen the cast cost for hammers, I have like the math on it. It's like 80 adaptive flat spell damage from Devotion, plus all the other stuff you can get for Smite. And basically, I'm looking for the spell leech so that I can take the rest of the sacrifice nodes and stop using the healing nodes to keep myself alive. And but yeah, it does really good damage. I hit the dummy probably 5 or 6 times a second for 200k. So
Now, there's nodes after the sacrifice nodes that reduce the amount of health cost in that. Do you have those currently in your build right now, or do you not?
I have 2. I intend on taking 1 more and taking I have a +3 relic for Smite. I intend on taking 1 more in the reduced cost node and taking the last 2 nodes I need for 100% more damage. And I should be fine if I get the upgraded spell leech.
And that's with the lightning too, you said, right? So it's
Yep.
it's casting lightning. Do you have the lightning bolts too, to where they branch out too? If it's
I just have the first node, the 1 node that gives you 3. I don't have any of the ones that increase it. I just have, so I go up, I get the 2 points in the blind you need to branch over to where you have a chance to apply Electrify, which is actually useless for me. And then I go down to where it converts everything to lightning, down 1 more to make it so that I have like the AoE, and then I go, right now I have 2 points in heal AoE and 1 point in the cleanse to get the free cleanse. When I upgrade my I can upgrade my belt to get cleanse off of it, and then I can go down and grab the rest of the nodes and sacrifice. I have all the crit and the base crit and crit multi, but the build's working really well.
Nice.
What is your offhand item? Are you like a crit catalyst thing?
Nope, shield.
A shield? Are
Yeah.
you using the shield that has the reduced life cost of skills?
No,
I wonder if that would be good.
it might be. That's interesting. I actually, you honestly just taught me something. I didn't even know that was a thing. You've seen my shield. My shield is basically unethical. It's T6 block chance, T5 block effectiveness, and then it's T5 reduced damage taken on block. And then I got, unfortunately, it was another one of my items that fractured at like 96%, trying to upgrade the all res from 1 to 2. So it's T1 all res. But
Listen,
Feels
in
bad.
Path of Exile, tier 1's really good. So, keep
Yeah.
up.
yeah, perfect.
I want to share some information because because of a conversation that I was having in chat during my stream, I did a little bit of math. I guess not math. I did some basic counting, and I have some info here. So my character's level 100, and I think my gear is like pretty good. It's a pretty strong character. We got like 3,800 life, tons of damage, tons of everything. But the person in chat was asking like, hey, is my gear good enough if it's not tier 20? And if you have all 5, or sorry, if all 4 of your modifiers are tier 5, it's like 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 is tier 20. And then like a literally perfect item would be all tier 7s, is tier 28. And this person was asking like, hey, is my build good enough? Excuse me. Is my build good enough if it's not tier 20? And I was like, you know what? Let's go find out, because I think my gear is pretty good and I like it a lot. So for my level 100 hardcore crit Void Knight thing, I have it basically averages out to tier 15. I have 16, 15, 15, 16, 16, 16, 12, 13, 16, 12. And it's like, really, like, you don't need tier 20 stuff in order to like annihilate the end game. If you have the right modifiers on the right base, it's like, tier 15's pretty good. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to a lot to the base item itself whenever it comes to a lot of the builds, especially like with the Sentinel this weekend, playing that. I needed a lot of critical strike avoidance in my build, and I was getting that from my helmet and my chest piece. And if it wouldn't have been for those modifiers being on the items themselves for Sentinel, I think I probably would have got shafted a lot sooner in the arenas because I tried farming the crit blessing, crit avoidance blessing, could not get it. I tried like 6 times before I gave up and said, forget this. I'm going back to Argentus. I need those Wings of Argentus for the damage reduction. Still never got the Wings of Argentus. Probably should have kept farming the crit blessing, critical strike avoidance blessing. So I agree with your statement, though, about a good base item being great for the start. And so far, my experience too with items has been it doesn't really matter what's on the item as long as it's the right modifiers. It tends to work 90% of the time for what you're doing. As long as you're scaling what you're actually using it for, it tends to work pretty well.
Yeah. Oh, I came up with a better answer to your question from earlier, Perry. You said, what can people expect from my stream? I think, in general, I'm the type of person. If I'm gonna start a build and I think I can make it work, I want to play it until I actually think it's done. Right? Like I want to go and I want to get everything about as perfect as I can and push about as far as I can and see what it can really do. That being said, if I get bored, I might start something new, might try some projects out. But yeah, I don't. If I ever I've considered already. I guess maybe it's a little bit preemptive, but considered maybe trying to do YouTube stuff. But I was thinking to myself, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to make build guides, I want to make good build guides. I don't want to have like a different. I wouldn't be the type of person who can make a build guide every day. I'm not on that level. I would want to be the type of person where I can make stuff, perfect it to the best of my ability, and then push it out there, really knowing what I'm talking about. So.
Deal. Yeah, that sounds great.
We've
got we've got like multiple people in the community already who just like pump out build guides. Like if you want a skeleton of what to do with this, or like a build idea of how to do this, like there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
For like the good builds, like something that a person's played for 100 hours, they've min-maxed it, they tried two or three different versions of like the same thing. Like there's totally a market for that in Last Epoch.
Yeah.
So, like piggybacking off what you were just saying, where you like are playing builds until they are done. What do you think is like your like minimum barometer for that? Like, what corruption level that your build's like clearing through? At what point do you consider like, yeah, this build's basically done outside of like, like Perry was saying, hitting some crazy like tier 28 items or some crap like that?
As far as benchmarking, I don't know. I feel like that's going to come with experience. I've seen people who do similar things to this. Lizard's probably a pretty good example. Like I feel like when Lizard puts out a video, he's played the build for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I've seen him play like some of the characters he's done. I've seen him play them in 1,000+ corruption, and push them to like insane waves in the arena and stuff like that. And not every build is made for the arena, but pretty much whenever we're all ARPG players, so you make like your build planner. In this game, it's pretty comprehensive. Like you can pretty much pick every affix you want on every piece of gear, and what uniques you want and stuff like that. But things are always going to change as you're actually playing the character. It's like, okay, I can't actually put this resist here. I got to get it here. I got this exalted modifier, so I'm going to change stuff up a little bit. And for me, I'm going to want to I'm gonna have to just play probably around a little bit or play the build to the point where I feel like, this is what the build can do. Maybe it can't do 1,000 corruption, maybe it can't do 1,500 corruption, but it's a pretty good build, and I'll push it out like this. I think it's playable. And yeah, I think that's where I'm at pretty much on like if I decide to get into making like build guides.
Awesome.
So now you got to take my bleed multi-strike build and see if you can push it above 100 corruption.
I think I have salt the wound, I have all that stuff. I need to learn more about the elements, so it would be a learning experience for me to actually play like a real bleed build. The only thing I played is I started a little bit before this patch dropped. I did play the like Aura of Decay, Wandering Spirits Lich, but as we know, that kicked the bucket pretty hard with the patch. Wonder
Well,
experience is not so
according
much
to the
fun.
calculations that I've heard, that build only lost like 97% of its damage.
Yeah,
Like
approximately.
I mean, it's pretty okay,
Yeah,
I guess.
potentially.
Uh,
Jeez.
That's funny. We talked about the like the minimum viable stuff a couple times on this podcast actually. Just saying like what is a good build? What is a functional build? What is a bad build? Like what do these different words mean? And like a functional build, like I'm gonna throw out Ignite Cinderstrike because as much as I liked playing Ignite Cinderstrike a couple weeks ago, it's not particularly good. And like that's a functional build. You can go like 100, 120 corruption. You can play the game, but like it's not gonna push corruption or push arena or anything. But like maybe like 200 to 300 corruption, 200 or 300 in the arena, somewhere around there is like, yup, this build's great, this build's good, this build does what it needs to do. Yeah, something around there. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
on the sentiments with the arena to 200 waves. I think 200 waves is kind of like the benchmark for, a decent build. But then you got, like you said, Jacobus, Lizard pushing some insane waves on some of his other builds. I think it comes down to skill level too. Like there's definitely a skill difference between me and you, Perry. You're definitely a better player than I am, and I can admit that. Even if you did die before me in hardcore, and I'm gonna constantly bring it up just as a little pokey poke. But no, you are a really good player, and your builds, every build I've ever seen you do, Perry, has been fantastic. You've always gotten it to in game. You've always pushed corruption with them, and you've got a good base knowledge too coming over from PoE. And I assume that's why you're doing so well already, Cobus, in the game, is your base knowledge from PoE. You've got a little bit of a background in the ARPG, so switching over to this game is not as bad for you. But going back to what I was saying about the differences in skill level, you take a build that I put together, and I guarantee you, if I put Lizard on my computer and have him play it, he could probably push it twice as far as what I can, just based upon like his amount of time and knowledge in the arena. I don't spend as much time in the arena as somebody like Lizard does. But then whenever these tournaments come about, like the tournament we got coming up this next weekend, it's going to be a different skill set because this weekend coming up, we have the Shade of Orbis run coming up, and it's going to be a different skill set for those players because it's going to be a speed run. So, and everybody that's watching, you guys can catch the Shade of Orbis race this Sunday coming up. It'll be live on Twitch. It's going to be hosted by myself, Additional Baker, and also one other gentleman, Mr. Hooster, is going to be there with us. And we're going to be hosting that race. So
I didn't know about that. That's interesting.
it was open to the public this time. The first Shade of Orbis race, Jacobus, was not open to the public. It was invitation only. So the next one that's going to be probably next month will be open invitation again, and you can participate in that one.
Nice. Cool. We get some practice
Those
in.
races are just like they're a different game than I play. Like
Yeah.
the fact that you can take down Aerobis at 2.5 hours, it's like get out of here.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'll comment on like the Lizard skill level thing though. Watching Lizard play Arena is almost like an art form. Like he's high APM. The builds he plays, like watching him play like Turbo Vengeance and watching him perfectly hit reversal out of everything every time is it's magical. But I mean I don't think it's unachievable for me. I played a lot of games where it's high APM stuff. I played StarCraft and FPS and stuff. So I'm hoping that I can get there. I got a long way to go, but I'm hoping I get to the point where it's like I can test a build truly, even accounting for relatively high skill level.
Yeah, and that perspective right there, like that's why Arena is gonna stay around. Like I know Arena, the history of Arena in Last Epoch is just like they wanted to give players a way to test their builds while they were still developing the rest of the game, to catch up with how much power players already had, right? But like people love Arena, and like what you just said right there, like you want to be skill tested, you want to have this like high APM thing, you want to have a build that's not just like I automate this and then I go blast, high tier maps
Yeah.
or high tier echoes or something.
Don't
Like,
necessarily
yeah,
want to
I mean,
play PoE in
people
Last
like
Epoch.
being tested. Arena's here to stay.
Yeah, I hope so at least.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was even a chance of it being a temporary thing. Sorry, go ahead.
Agreed about Arena being around. I hope it's around because, like, much like Grim, like I suck at Arena. I'll be honest, I'm terrible at it because like I don't play it enough because like I spend most of my time playing like pushing corruption and trying to get drops and stuff like that. And like obviously like Arena's not the place to be getting drops and stuff. So like that's definitely the weakest link in my game is like I'm just bad at Arena. Like I position wrong a lot and get killed because of it because I like do not anticipate where mobs are coming from correctly and stuff. And if I play Arena more, I will get better at stuff like that. So, which is why I need to be playing the Vision races, but both of my jobs are just like, hey, what if you worked all day Saturday and Sunday? And I'm like, can I not, though?
So are you still going to be working on the same build this week, Ecobus?
Yeah, I plan to. I was theory crafting some stuff. I found out. I was talking to you about it last night. I found out that it's probably not particularly good. And I'll just leave. So I was looking into, they nerfed the interaction between Shield Barrage and I forget what it's called, the something form or whatever for throwing the shield where you get 100% bonus damage or 100% more damage based upon your block chance. So I was looking at maybe doing like a spell version of that with the new smites with smite as well, like hit it on a throwing attack hit. And so I was talking to people last night in the stream, and evidently it just doesn't scale well. Either it's bugged or it's like intentionally not particularly good. The lava burst stuff.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was the explosion on it, the chain explosion or whatever. Whenever you throw it out and it hits and it blows up as it hits.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, but like I said, I'm enjoying my my Hammerden quite a bit, and it has a long way to go. Like I'm well past level 85, but it still has it still has a lot of upgrades it could get. Life is bad. Like 1700 is where I'm sitting at right now. I got good block chance, but obviously I can get exalted modifiers on my rings. I can probably hit 100% block, probably hit double my block effectiveness, really crank up the DR. I can get gloves. Maybe I can get as lucky as you and get the ones that I want, Perry.
I've had some people come into the stream recently and just say things like, "Hey, do you think these gloves are they too good?" Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they are. They are. Well, good luck finding them. Well, at least after they fix it. But yeah, like so it's I don't know. I got tons of room to upgrade pretty much every piece of my gear, and I think I can push it way higher. I won't, like I said, even the frame drops probably aren't helping me any, but I think 210 is definitely not the ceiling for this build as far as, and it clears. It seems like, so this is a little bit of something. Maybe you guys can inform me whether or not I'm wrong or right about this, but it seems like the way mob scaling works in Monolith is kind of inverse of Arena. Not necessarily inverse, but just different. It seems like in Arena they get a lot of damage really fast with the higher waves, and in Monolith the more you push corruption, they seem to get way tankier much faster. And so it's like I feel like in Monolith I can probably push this build already to like 400 or 500. Like I'm having no trouble. Like I dash in and everything on my screen disappears in monos. But in Arena, it gets to the point where it's like, if I just don't hit them fast enough, I'll die to a ranged mob. And so, yeah, right now I'm at the point.
I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I mean, what you're describing matches like things like what Lizard would say too, right? Where like going to 300 in the Arena is maybe 500 corruption, like something like that. Where like Arena is just like a harder place to be because like it's harder to survive, more damage, things like that.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on like what Monolith modifiers you're taking as well, because you kind of have control over like how much life and how much damage you're giving to them.
Yeah, it's like for my build,
where it's just like everything is getting cranked up every single time.
Yeah, for my build, dodge is really bad because I rely on 2 hits. So if they dodge the hit for my throwing attack, I can't. At least I think I can't proc smite. And so if I'm not proccing and then they're also dodging smite, it feels really bad. But other than that, all the Monolith modifiers seem okay.
Dodge is garbage for every build. Dodge is the worst.
I was about to say, look, I play a Racing Strike bonk. The pain, the pain of dodge. Oh my god, it infuriates
you gotta wait another
me.
3 seconds to use your attack again.
I'm like, all right, cool, void cleave hit, excellent. And I like swing with a Racing Strike, and I'm like, oh, that guy didn't die. That's not good. I need to run away.
At least Void Cleave has enemies cannot dodge this built into it.
Correct.
And Void Cleave has the first instance of Crit Avoid outside of the Rogue Mastery, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait for monsters to have crit vulnerability built into them, so that they can kill me even though I'm Crit Avoid cast.
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
I do not look forward to it.
My favorite thing about the Void Cleave build I've been playing, though, is like having lunge on my bar, but it's not spec'd because I'm spec'd into Abyssal Echoes because Void Cleave casts Abyssal Echoes automatically every time it hits.
For sure. Yeah, having
That's
one
been
skill that's
super fun.
having a skill that's procced and doesn't have to be on your bar, so that you can have an unspec'd like sixth skill is
Yeah.
great. I
It's-
love whenever that pops up.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
That's
I
something
just
I'm
found out you
considering
can
for
do
my
that with
build.
Aura Decay. You can do that with Aura Decay too. You can have Aura Decay turned on, take it off your bar, and put something else in place. And I did not know that until today. Somebody was talking to me about that.
You
Wait,
couldn't
like-
do it last patch. Did they break that? Because you
I don't
definitely
know.
couldn't do it last patch.
I don't know if they changed it or what happened, but somebody was in my stream today telling me that you can run Aura Decay and turn it on, and then take it off your bar, and it'll stay on. So I'm gonna test it out after this. After this is done,
I
I'm
was
gonna
about
go
to
check
say,
it out.
you're about to make me log into my Acolyte that I haven't played in like 3 months to check that out.
let me share something with you that is truly unethical. And I think I heard this from Jay the Product when I was hanging out on his stream. And this is straight up like this should be patched out of the game soon. But like, you know, if people already know, then like this podcast audience should also know. Did you know that you can spec your mastery into a skill, assign that spec into that skill, and then remove the points off of your mastery? So you know how you have to put 15 points into Paladin to get Sigils of Hope?
Yeah,
You can put 15 points in, spec Sigil of Hope as one of your 5 skills, and then remove those 15 points from the Paladin Mastery and spend them elsewhere.
I did not
Sigils
know
of
that.
Hope sigils will disappear off of your action bar, but you can just reassign it on your action bar.
And it keeps everything you have.
And it
spec
keeps
stuff
everything,
into.
and it's still spec'd and everything.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
this-
that's definitely a bug,
Yeah.
but yeah.
like it's a thing, right? It's, I don't know. Use at your own risk, I guess. But
You're gonna
apparently
make me
it's
break
working
the
out.
game now, Perry. Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you for that.
you know, the more people who know about this, the sooner that EHG prioritizes it and fixes it, which is great.
That's,
you know, this is
that's
good stuff.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for us on last week at Epoch. If you want to catch more of Jacobus, we're going to have his information at the bottom of our description on YouTube. We're going to have him on there. We're also going to have on there, too, if you guys don't know, Demit's the one that runs the Last Epoch Tools website, and we're going to have on there for you guys, it's his support page. What is it called?
Patreon.
Support thing. Patreon, yes, his Patreon account. I had to think for a second. We're going to have his Patreon on there as well, guys. So what I'm going to do now is we do have people in chat, so I'm going to go ahead and give Jacobus here a shout-out on there. And then we hope that you guys catch us again next Tuesday whenever we go live. Remember, it will be on YouTube Thursday night, and it will also be on Spotify now as well. So hope you guys tune in and check it out there if you missed that and you've seen this. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in tonight on Last Week at Epoch. So for myself and everybody else here, you guys have a great night and take care, and we'll catch you in the next one.